So there are two things I want to say in this context. All modern ideologies, be it liberalism or nationalism or fascism, they realize the centrality of the state in organization of human life. As Rawls would say, the totalizing state is the effect of human life. So it doesn't matter whether you are liberal, national, or fascist. The difference might be the way you use that state and for the purpose you use this. So that's why it is ridiculous to ask Muslims or Christians not to try to establish their own state. Because without a state, you can't sustain any ideology in the modern world. So what I'm saying is, it's not just fascism, but liberalism, socialism, all use a state to constitute individual consciousness, social mores, collective consciousness, market, etc. So fascism is not unique in that. Yes, they do it. Technology is different. Techniques are different. And one difference is that because liberalism believe in individual freedom, of course, socialism and nationalism also believe in freedom. They're all modernistic ideologies. But they believe in the freedom of humanity or the freedom of nation. But since liberalism believe in individual freedom, it actually needs more control. This is the paradox of freedom. Because you give people more freedom, you make sure that they are able to self-discipline. And how you make sure that they are self-disciplined? Through education, through propaganda, through advertisement, through entertainment, through making them, as Chomsky would say or Foucault would say, making them, inculcate the philosophy of futility, the philosophy of entertainment in there. So they are not going to bother you then in more serious things. So the thing is that if people are more free, if you give people more individual freedom, you need to control them more. So in fact, liberalism needs more control than socialism and fascism in many ways. But the difference is that the way they control is different, which mixes not only stick with carrot, which all of them do, but also it uses more subtle art of and technology of liberal government. So in a very important way, it relies on education, advertisement, it relies on surveillance, subtle surveillance, it relies on knowledge, statistics, in order to shape human behavior in a way in which the need to directly control them would be less. So you shape an individuality in certain way that it is self-discipline in many ways. Okay, let's go back. So it's not true that fascism is unique in that it uses government. So it advocates an authoritarian state in the government controls all aspects. All the states control or manage all aspects of life. Liberal state does it too. A liberal state is not an authoritarian state, but that doesn't mean that it is not a controlling state. The way of its control is different. That's called management. So it manages all aspects. So liberal state might not be totalitarian, but it is totalizing. For all states are totalizing. Totalizing in the sense that nothing escapes. All life is under their surveillance and control and under their ambit. How much actual control they will use at certain point, that depends on your technology of government and your art of government. But that doesn't mean that a liberal state is not a totalizing state. It might not be totalitarian state, but it is a totalizing state. In practice, Mussolini's fascist government denied freedom of speech to individuals. Yes, because real freedom belongs to nation. And appeal to violence. Violence is used by liberal states as well. Like, look at that, America. There are more prisoners in prisons in America than anywhere in the world, even more than China, which is like like 3-4 times larger in population than America. So these are propaganda that obviously fascist propaganda, fascist authoritarianism and violence is crude. That's why. But liberal states actually learn from Nazis and fascists and all this. The term fascism was later used to characterize Hitler's National Socialism and other European regimes influenced by Hitler and Mussolini. Through Hitler, fascism became associated with genocidal anti-Semitism. Not just genocidal anti-Semitism, genocidal anti-Slavic people, genocidal anti-Gypsies. There are more Gypsies and Slavic people killed than Semites. Pseudo-Semites like Jews, but obviously our modern propaganda, obviously because Jews are and Americans are chosen people of the God, so their lives are more precious. So obviously, they are always mentioned. But other fascist regimes were militaristic. Non-fascist regimes are militaristic as well, like America. No regime has been more militaristic in the history of human world than America, the liberal country. Since the World War, the term has been taken as a symbol of evil. One-sidedly, because it is symbol of evil, but more effective evils are liberalism and individualistic capitalism, Americanism, which is applied to any oppressive and totalitarian political regime or action. Which is not to say that liberal regimes are not oppressive. Depends on it. Like America is oppressive to poor and black people and to minorities. Might not be that oppressive to rich white people, but as I gave you the example of people in American jails. Some political theorists seek to understand how fascist regimes arose in the context of modernity, which we did.